he was made to rule the waves across the seven seas, to lead the war machine, to rule the waves and lead the Kriegsmarine, the terror of the seas, the Bismarck, and the Kriegsmarine. Following the end of the First World War and the signing of the Treaty of Versailles, Germany was left as a broken nation, broken economy, and in a state of chaos. The lack of a proper navy and armed forces further fueled German unrest during the 1920s and the 1930s, which culminated with the leader of the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or NSDAP, under the rule of Adolf Hitler, being held as Chancellor and subsequent dictator of the German Reich. Hitler soon violated the Treaty of Versailles, creating what was now known as the Heer, which comprises of the German Army, the Wehrmacht, the German Air Force, the Luftwaffe, and the German Navy, the Kriegsmarine. Following a treaty with Britain, which is now known as the Anglo-German Naval Agreement, Germany was allowed to build battleships not exceeding 46,000 tons. With this, Germany began building two classes of battleships, the Scharnhorst class and the famed Bismarck class, which the latter's lead ship, the Bismarck, will be the prime topic for this video. The Bismarck was laid down in July 1936 and launched in February 1939, with British naval intelligence officers even attending. The Bismarck was commissioned into the Kriegsmarine in September 1940 and proceeded to be assigned to Operation Rheinübung, a commerce raiding operation that rode off the success of Operation Berlin, a past commerce raiding operation involving the two Scharnhorst-class battleships. With the Bismarck ready, she was to be accompanied by 3 other modern German battleships, but this had to be scrapped as these ships were not ready yet. Instead, the German Navy used the Admiral Hipper-class heavy cruiser Prinz Eugen. On the 18th of May 1941, the two ships left the German port of Gotenhafen, now modern Gdynia in Poland, set for the Atlantic. On the 24th of May, after being bottled up in the Baltic Sea, the Bismarck and the Prinz Eugen encountered a detachment of the British Home Fleet sent from Scapa Flow. These were two of the Royal Navy's best ships. The first was the famed battlecruiser Hood, commanded by Sir Lancelot Holland, loved by the Commonwealth for over 20 years, and served as the Royal Navy's pride and joy. She served as the biggest warship in the world until the Bismarck, but was soon doomed. Along her was the Royal Navy's latest flagship, the Prince of Wales, under the command of Sir John Leach. With quadruple gun turrets, she was the most modern and best capital ship to fight against the Bismarck. Action between the two ships started at 5:52 a.m., which ended in the chaotic loss of the Hood and the damage suffered by the Prince of Wales. The Hood was one of the most significant losses during this fight against the Bismarck, and just 3 men, yes 3, out of 1,500 crew survived. The Prince of Wales broke off, and at the same time, the cruisers Norfolk and Suffolk have been shadowing the Bismarck as well. However, the Bismarck was damaged too, suffering a 14-inch hit from the Prince of Wales, resulting in a large oil streak being left across the ocean. John Tovey, the admiral of the British fleet, ordered the aircraft carrier Victorious to speed towards the Bismarck. At the same time, the Bismarck spots and fires on the two cruisers, the Prince of Wales now joining them. On the Victorious, 9 outdated Swordfish torpedo bombers take off, but ultimately failing to sink or at least damage the Bismarck. For the remainder of the chase, the Royal Navy hunts down the Bismarck, the ship constantly disappearing and reappearing on the radar. And just as Bismarck was returning to occupied France, a PBY Catalina aircraft spots the Bismarck and signals the position to the fleet. Swordfish from the aircraft carrier Ark Royal take off, failing after accidentally attacking the British cruiser Sheffield. However, upon returning, the planes fly another sortie to attack the Bismarck, this time bringing success to the Royal Navy. One torpedo hit the Bismarck's two rudders, one being repaired, but the other one resulting in Bismarck sailing in circles, directly away from Brest. At 8:45 a.m. on the 27th of May, 1941, Tovey sees the Bismarck with his very eyes, damaged after suffering that torpedo hit and being bracketed by destroyers the night before. The two battleships, the HMS King George V, sister ship of the Prince of Wales, and the old battleship Rodney, are with him. The Rodney was outdated, but her 16-inch guns were the best in the Royal Navy. With both battleships now plowing through the heavy seas, the Rodney fires first. The first shots of her 16-inch guns miss the Bismarck, but the water splashes are so high that they spoil the aim of the King George V. Minutes later, the Bismarck fires at Rodney, missing all shots. In the meantime, the cruisers Dorsetshire and Norfolk drive in opposite directions of the battleship, splitting the Bismarck's line of fire. As the ship exchange fire, the British ships continue to miss, while the Bismarck's shots go closer and closer to the Rodney. But at that moment, the Rodney fires, smashing the Bismarck's main forward fire control director, disabling the forward turrets A and B. The two battleships split up, pounding the Bismarck with broadsides. Just 3 minutes after Rodney nailed Bismarck's fire director, she hits Bismarck's B turret, the power of the hit being so fierce that it makes A turret malfunction. By now, even the cruisers have joined the action, pounding Bismarck's thinly armored superstructure. And as the fight continues, the Bismarck sustains heavy damage. One of Bismarck's ammunition lockers explode, the fire director station is blown off, and the superstructure and the bridge collapse forward. And by 9:30 a.m., the Bismarck's 8 great 15-inch guns fall silent, and are still constantly being pounded by the ships. The Rodney gets the point-blank range on the Bismarck, and proceeds to slam broadside after broadside on the doomed ship, resulting in massive fires on the deck of the Bismarck. The bow was hit so many times that it was red hot and steaming off every time it plowed through the heavy seas. Despite how many times the battleships and the cruisers hit Bismarck, however, the ship still refused to sink, staying well above the water, even with visible shell holes in its upper hull. Faced with the threat of running out of fuel, the force retreats, and the Dorsetshire finishes the job with 3 torpedo hits, 1 on the port side and 2 on the starboard side. They hit with massive pillars of water spraying into the sky. The Bismarck groans and lists to the port side and down by the stern. The Bismarck gradually sinks by the stern, and within 30 seconds, the hull gushes into water and sinks, the bow slipping under by 10:40 a.m. on the 27th of May, 1941. The sinking cost the lives of over 2,100 men, and just a little over 100 men survived. As the Bismarck went under, the HMS Dorsetshire picked up survivors, but had to flee due to the threat of German U-boats in the area. Today, we remember Bismarck as a legendary ship, and even if she sunk 81 years ago to date, she still remains as one of the most iconic battleships to ever master the seas. This is the Naval Guy signing off, and remember to comment, like, and subscribe.